Getting ready for my podcast. All right, getting ready for our reparation conversation. And yep, we're ready for you. Hi, everyone. I hope you can hear me. This is Zion Tedessa, and waiting for Chris to join us here at the podcast. And we'll be talking about reparation conversation, which we'll be focusing on education and outreach, what really reparation means to the African American community here in Sacramento. And yeah, we're looking forward to talk to Chris and see where we at when it comes to city level, um, state level, and federal level. So right now, what we're doing is Shiva Farm Foundation and a few other foundation working with the mayor's office, so we can actually create a program with the help of with the city of Sacramento, which is the mayor's office. In that way, we can outreach to the people, see what they really, really want when it comes to or need when it comes to reparation, and how they would like the fund to be distributed according to the needs and the wants of our African American community. So, yep, getting ready. So, whatever question you have, you can put it out there, because this is just the beginning. We're just trying to get survey, and also people get involved when it comes to education, reparation. I know there's a lot of confusion going on. We don't want to give money. We don't want to give this and that. So, but so what we're trying to do is really work with the mayor office to see even if people would want the mayor's office or the city of Sacramento can create a program for reparation that really benefits the African American community. So, so right now I have Chris. He's been working on reparation for a long time, over a few years now. He was part of the task force from state level, and he's also very much involved in the city level. So at the city level, I believe that's a start. So we can actually start here in Sacramento, and then go to the state and also the federal level, because it's about time. I should have been there a long time ago when civil rights movement happened. That's what reparation should have happened, as far as I'm concerned. By now, African American would have created generational wealth for generation to come. So we're starting, right now. So everything is focusing on when it comes to education. We'll be focusing on when it comes to housing, because even though African Americans are only here especially in California, around 6%, or, just to be, I'm not exact, but the 40% of African American here in Sacramento, of that is homeless. And the education, and that's another level, and the housing, the healthcare, the businesses. How do we get our people get into businesses and nonprofit? I believe that's the only way you can actually create generational wealth. So, so we got to get involved. We got to get involved for our community. It's not just about, black, white, Asian, but this is about African American community that have been disadvantaged from generation to generation. So how do we repair that? How do we help that. So we not only as immigrants from different all over the world benefit, they benefit too. So we have Chris right here. Welcome, welcome, Chris. Yes, there he is, the man himself.
I love this.
Yes.
So nice.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So if you can tell us a little bit about, what's going on with the reparation. I know you've been all over the place, Chris. I know.
Yes, and I have been, and I will continue to be.
Yes.
I'll be in Marin City on Saturday, South Central LA on Sunday, back in Sacramento on Monday. But I'm here right now. Okay, and that's what all that matters. So just give a quick update on what's going on. Just for those folks who don't know, I'll do a quick intro. Chris Lodgson, lead organizer, Coalition for a Just and Equitable California. We are California's first only leading statewide grassroots volunteer descendant-led organization born just for reparations and reparative justice for descendants of the people whose ancestors were emancipated from chattel slavery in the United States. And so part of what I do is help educate folks about reparations and then help no worries. And then activate folks for reparations here in California. We helped write the final version of the law that created the California Reparations Task Force in 2019 and 2020. And then we were one of the 7 community organizations that the Reparations Task Force selected to do community outreach, and engage me. It's just so nice. It's so professional. So professional. I'm like, I don't even know what to do. So I just want to give you sort of a little bit of background on me and what we have been doing. But also I want to answer your question directly because I think it's a great question of what's going on. So a little bit about the state level, and then a little bit about what's going on here in the city of Sacramento, because that's just as exciting as anything else. And of course, we are partly here to help encourage you, the folks who are listening and watching right now, to participate in Sacramento's decision about whether or not the city of Sacramento should pursue reparations at the local level here in the city of Sacramento. But I'm answering a long way. So what's going on at the state level? So right now, the California State Legislative Black Caucus and other members of the California Senate, California Assembly are right now considering and developing bills for reparations and bills based on the recommendations of the State Reparations Task Force, which back in 2023 released a final report with over 100 different recommendations for what the state should do for reparations and who it should do it for and when and how and all of those questions. And so the State Reparations Task Force, as I mentioned, released that report last year. They gave that report to the State Legislative Black Caucus for them to create reparations bills. And I have to say, we are, as I've said last week in some interviews, we are in uncharted waters. We're in uncharted territory. We have never been here before as both a people in the state of California and across the country too. We've never been in a place where we're actually debating and developing reparations bills at the state level. So that's what's going on right now at the state level. There's more to say, but that's generally what's going on. Here at the city level, though, Sacramento has been watching what the state has been doing, watching what other cities in California have been doing, like San Francisco, like LA, like Berkeley, like Culver City, like Alameda County, and saying Sacramento, that is saying now, should we as a city pursue reparations at the local level for what Sacramento is culpable, responsible for? Should we as a city, and the city is asking you folks who are listening and watching now to help the city make that decision. There's an amazing survey out right now. Zion, you have been tremendous at helping to promote the survey. We're also helping to promote the survey at CJEC as well. We have a landing page up right now at sacrepsurvey.com, www.sacrepsurvey.com, and you can take the survey. But if you're watching this right now, I'm sure you have a link to the survey because you probably had to get a link to the survey to even get to this broadcast right now. So that's what's going on.
Yes. So
that's a lot.
Thank you for that.
Sure.
So I'm just gonna bring you to the state level. I mean, the city level.
Yes,
That's
yes,
where we are.
yes.
So it's five of us right now, all doing nonprofit
Yep.
to organize our community
Yes.
at the city level, Sacramento, so we can have our African American put their voice out there, how they
Yes.
really would want to make this happen.
Yep.
So, how optimistic are you, the city, creating this program? So through us being the bridge and reaching out to the community that who needs it.
Yeah, I'm very optimistic, to be honest with you, and I'll tell you why. So we have seen already several cities in California already take steps forward to do something like this.
Yes.
San Francisco, LA, as I mentioned, Culver City, Berkeley, Alameda County, Oakland has taken some steps. I mean, there are a bunch of cities across the state that have already taken similar steps. Across the country, there are over 100 different cities or counties or towns that have taken some sort of steps towards some local reparations. So
Yes.
I'm very optimistic, and I'm also optimistic not just because of what we've seen and are seeing cities do. I'm also very optimistic because of what the state is doing.
Yes.
And so it's important to have sometimes in city government or or even local government, sometimes in government, it helps to have an example go before you do it. And so I'm also very optimistic because of the fact that we have our state of California that is leading the nation right now. There is no state that is as far ahead and along as California. California was the first state to create a state task force, to finish a state task force, to make recommendations, and now the first state to actually have bills based on what that task force recommended. So I'm very, very optimistic.
So if we talk about the bills, I know you were part of it, and there was task forces in to make that bill. So when I was reading last time on the Observer, so what those bills are focusing on social justice, criminal justice, housing, and then healthcare and businesses.
Yes.
So, which is, that's what our community needs to really rebuild our community from grassroots. So, if we trying to do a program at the city level, are we following that footstep in a way what the state is doing, or are we just, doing maybe creating a program to specifically that would benefit Sacramento?
So it's probably a little bit of both, although, and let me say a little bit about what the state bills look like and what the state is doing at the state level for reparations bills. By the way, again, we've never had state level reparations bills in California's history or the country's history.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to know that one, from what we've been told by the people who are writing the bills, the California Legislative Black Caucus, what we've been told is that what we've seen in the way of the bills that they introduced just this year, just in the last few weeks, really, is the first of, they have said, 3 attempts or 3 years worth of bills. So what they've told us is that this first round of bills that they introduced over the last few weeks is the first of 3, and that they're going to be introducing bills every year based on the recommendations of the state task force for the next 3 years at least. So that's an important point, I think, to start with, because one, it sends a signal that the state is doing this piece by piece and not attempting to do everything at once. So that could be a lesson for Sacramento also.
Yes.
So just sort of on the top level. But if you go into the bills, and you may have seen this in the Sacramento Observer story, I think we were quoted in there. I think some other folks were also, and there's been a bunch of stories. We've looked at the bills that were both in what we call the priority list of bills from the California Legislative Black Caucus. There are 14 bills in that priority list. And then there are a number of other bills that are not in the priority list, but that are based on the recommendations of the state task force that other members have introduced. And so we have been if you've seen any of the coverage and quoting from us, we've been critical of those first 14 bills, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah.
We've said that one, it's not enough. So that's the first part. That one, there's not enough bills. Secondly, the bills that we do have are not strong enough. And what do we mean by strong? So specifically, most of those bills, with some important exceptions, there are some important exceptions, but most of those bills are what we call not reparations. So though there are bills that do things like formally apologize for what the state has done, that's important. That's a good thing. But an apology is not reparations.
Yeah.
We want you to apologize. We want you to acknowledge what you did. We think that's important. But saying sorry is not reparations. We've other things in there include things like stopping our prison system and our prisons from banning books. Might be a good thing to do. It's not reparations though. And so one, if you look at some of the content of those bills, they're clearly not reparations for those reasons, but also because, with some very important exceptions, and I'm talking specifically about the bills in that list of 14 in the priority list, almost none of them are specific to descendants of persons who were enslaved in this country. So almost all of them apply to everybody, meaning everybody, no matter what your race is, background is, you would get something too. So that, of course, is not reparations for us if you give it to other people too. So that's part of how we have been looking at those bills. Now, again, there are some notable exceptions, specifically and particularly bills introduced by State Senator Stephen Bradford and some of the other members of the State Legislative Black Caucus. I'll give you a quick example, then I'll be quiet here, because I'm just talking. Right on. So just some notable examples. Senate Bill 490. Some notable exceptions. Senate Bill 490, which would create a reparations agency, a place where people to go to apply for reparations, to show that they're eligible, to get their claims and payments processed. That is a critical piece. We need that. All right. And so that is a good bill. It's specifically for the descendants too. So that's a really good bill. Senate Bill 1331 rather, which would create a reparations fund in our state treasury, and would require 6% of our special funds from our budget every year to be deposited into that fund. You can't do reparations without spending money, so that's a good bill. And it's also specifically for descendants too. So there's some really good notable exceptions. But we've said consistently, publicly, and to caucus members directly that we want them to take stronger action on bills as they go forward.
Okay, the last question. Sorry.
No worries.
And so what do you think is so now for the next step?
Yeah.
What we have to do.
So here in Sacramento, first we want everybody to take the survey.
Yes.
Take the Sacramento Reparation Survey, www.sacrepsurvey.com. That's www.sacrep survey, survey.com. Right? So take the survey. Let the city of Sacramento know what you think about whether or not the city of Sacramento should pursue local reparations. So the next step for every single person watching right now is to take that survey. Do it right now. Don't wait. Do it right now. And then after that, and part of what we're doing is, as a next step, is educating our Sacramento public, our Sacramento community members about reparations and about what's going on at the state and city level.
Perfect. Because, it's so important that our African Americans especially get involved and put their voice out there so they can actually create those programs that way. But if we don't get involved and they're not going to know what really we want, then they will go ahead and create their own program that does not serve the community. So it is so important. Every African American in Sacramento or even beyond to do that survey, so the city will look at it and say, okay, this is what they want when it comes to reparation. So it's important that people have to really, really fill out that survey.
Yes, absolutely. Couldn't have said it any better. Fill out the survey. Let the city know. A lot of times, as you were just saying, a lot of times the city will do something and then ask us how we feel afterwards.
Yeah.
Right now, they asking us what we want first.
That's right. Yes.
So let's take advantage of this.
Yes. Yes. Thank you, Chris. I really appreciate you. I know me and you, we're going to do this a lot.
Yes,
Because
please.
education is important to us, educating our people and getting us involved. So I'm just so happy that I have you to explain all that in detail.
It's my pleasure.
So thank you.
Anytime.
Thank you, Chris. Yep. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yep. Get involved. That's what we say. You know, that's the only way we can get results.
Right.
Thank you.
All right.
All right. Thank you so much.
Okay,
And
so you
make
guys are
sure
gonna
you
be on
follow
Aaron's
us
show as well, or-
and we're going to have
That's
another
what he
show
had you
after
on his
30
show.
minutes.
Okay, what time is
And
it?
then we'll see you then.
Kind of did a
Thank
rush
you.
thing on her, but
Bye-bye.
it was scheduled for. That's what I'm trying to get.
Okay.
And I know he had you down